My name is Sam Schmitz. I'm a DirecTV technician for about a year now.
My name is Angelina Ramos and I'm a service technician.
My name is Jeremy Jordan. I'm a VIP technician out of Littleton, Colorado.
My name is Omar Pimentel and I'm a service technician.
My name is Jesse. I am a installer and service technician.
My name is Walter Sharp. I am a service technician.
Larry Hasten, I'm an installation technician.
A typical day for a tech, you're arriving at the office at 6 a.m. to get involved with your team huddle to find out the plan for the day.
All right, the game changers. The guys pick that name out. And what is the motto? What is the motto?
Get your 10.
Get your 10.
Yesterday we had 5 surveys, 100% on everybody. We're at 5 for 5.
We're going to change our goals and we're going to drive to 80. That's our idea. Drive to 80. With the we're going to drive to 80. Get you up. 10. Get you up. 10. Get you up. 10. Break.
You're given about 30 minutes to load up your truck with all the equipment you're going to need to complete your service calls and installs for the day. You need to make sure your van's fueled up for the day. You might be stopping at the propane station or at the gas station to fill up.
Typical day would be calling in advance to let your customer know how long you'll be there.
Good morning, my name is Kia from DirecTV Home Services. I'll let you know I'll be there about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. I just want to let you know that I'm the technician and I'm heading your way now, so I should be around within the next 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. See you soon.
The call starts before you get to the front door, setting up your van in a safe location with the cones and all the markers to make sure your day starts off safe.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
All right. I'm Royal, by the way, with DirecTV.
Hi.
All right.
When you get there, you greet the customer.
Hi, good morning. You from Direct Television?
Come on in.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike with DirecTV. I'm here to put in your DirecTV system.
My name is Gustavo. I'm here to do the upgrade.
All right, come on in. Oh, good. Come on in.
It's always a good idea to carry the boot covers in your back pocket, so when you get to the front door, you're ready to make sure that the customer feels as though you care about their home as if it was yours.
Just make sure the work order is correct. That should usually take you about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, first things first. So today's your appointment for a high-def video. Is that correct?
Okay, this first one right here is saying that you gave us permission to work in your house.
You need to walk the job, and while you're walking the job, you're talking with the customer about what they expect while you're there.
I'll go through and do a site survey, ask the customer where they want their receivers hooked up to what TVs.
The language barrier. If you're not bilingual, that could be an issue, and that could definitely slow you down.
A lot of the times, if they have kids, the kids are able to help us out with that. Seems a little funny, but it actually works.
Find out what type of TVs, if it's HDMI compatible or if it's component composite cabling, if the electrical outlets are safe for us to plug into. Typically they can take up to anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes.
A typical install could take 15-20 minutes just to properly find the line of sight.
While you're doing that, you're also doing your hazard assessment. You're looking around, finding out where you're going to put your dish, where you're going to run your wires. Something like that can usually run anywhere from 20 minutes on a good day to an hour with a real picky customer.
But you have that tree right there. It's going to give you in the future, so best location would be here. Clear line of sight, no trees. We have ground available. And then what I'll do is I'll pop in some lines into the attic. From the attic, I'll fit into rooms out to the garage. Is that okay with you?
After assessing the situation at hand, you need to get ready by putting on all your PPE. For example, your hard hat, safety goggles, gloves, and all the essential tools to complete the job.
Once you get that out of the way, then you start working.
You can save time by assembling the dish at your truck. You want to take a look at your work order to see if you're installing a swim module or just a basic swim system. Depending on that, you'll be prepping 1 cable up to 4 cables, which could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 15.
The biggest thing is where the dish is mounted, how you're going to mount it.
It could take another 30 minutes to put the dish up onto the house.
Once it comes time to mounting the dish, you have to take a look at all your options. Stucco, rafter, elephant trunk, roof mount. You have a lot of options accessible to you. One of the most important things you want to do is make sure the mass is level by using the bubble level that's supplied to you.
Getting on a roof nowadays is, we don't get on roofs without a supervisor present, and we have to be fully harnessed in and weighted down on the opposite side of the house so we don't fall.
If it is a really large home, I mean, we have to use special equipment like a 40-foot ladder, and that just takes 2 people, and that you might have to wait for the other technician to come and help.
Usually when you have to get a 40-foot ladder, we don't carry stuff like that on our vans, so we have to come back to the shop or have somebody drive it out to us. The average wait time on something like that could be anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 to 3 hours for a 40-foot ladder.
When peaking a dish, you have anywhere from 5 to 3 satellites you need to aim for and make sure that the signal is at its peak strength. With the high definition, you'll be trying to target in on the 99 and the 103. The basic format for that is to make sure that the 101 is at its highest, and that's going to level out the rest when your dish is leveled. The drip loop is very important to make sure that water doesn't run into any of the parts that are still in the exterior, like the ground blocks, splitters, multi-switches. Installing the ground wire is very important, especially in the case of electrical storms. When running coax from the ODU to the IRD, it could take anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half. You might have to go through the attic, the crawl space, try to do a wall fish for the customer. It's all about making it aesthetically pleasing.
If we have to run every line, that can add an hour to an hour and a half to an installation.
It all depends on the size of the house, whether the house is pre-wired, whether you had to run all the houses.
Running lines is not just slapping it on the side of a house. You may have to crawl behind bushes, fish it under a deck. Customer may not want to see wires in a particular place. You may have to wall fish.
Sometimes a wall fish can be completed in a matter of 15 minutes, and sometimes you can be fighting with the wall fish for well over an hour.
A wall fish can take you anywhere from 20 minutes to, I've had one take me 3 hours.
You don't know what's inside there. Insulation, fire blocks, gang boxes of electrical outlets, wiring, plumbing. It always can be in a factor of trying to get a line, a simple line from top of the wall to the bottom. It's very trying. It can be challenging.
Make the customer happy, have them be comfortable with how their house looks when you're finished.
When working on a swim system in any house, you need to make sure everything's labeled green to ensure that MRV will share properly. On a swim system, you're using splitters, which is making one line split off into multiple lines for all the other IRDs in the house. Multi-switches are more for the basic KKU installation or 18x20, which feeds those lines into multiple lines for the boxes.
And now this is a power supply that feeds power to the dish. This has to stay plugged in or nothing works. So this is important, okay? It's going to be right back here. Okay.
The power inserter provides electricity to the LNB, which allows signal to pass throughout the house.
Could take anywhere from an hour plus to do the install, depending on the number of receivers.
I wish it was as easy as taking a receiver out of a box and just plugging it in. There's a lot of technology involved with it, and there's a lot of things that you need to make sure are correct when you're installing a new receiver.
Once you have the box set up and you put in the access card, that's going to give the customer their programming information. So once you activate the box, it's automatically dialed in to get their programming.
What kind of equipment we're putting in. If it's standard definition equipment, that's very quick and easy. If it's more the more advanced high definition equipment, we have to wait for downloads.
So the next thing you're going to do is program the remote and make sure they're labeled with the little stickers that are provided to you. Being that the boxes have been sitting in a warehouse before the install, you need to do a software download. When doing the installation verification test and you receive a bunch of X's on the screen, the first thing you want to do is look over your installation and see if there's anything you might have missed. If everything is checked and everything is correct, you're then going to contact ISS. After that, you hit continue and it starts to acquire the guide data, which will allow the customer to get 2 weeks of guide information. So once you've done it in the living room that you've been working on, you go repeat the same process through every box in the house. Okay, the next step is to install the cinema kit, whether it be wireless or hardline with the broadband DECA. It can take about 15 minutes, depending if you have to run a new line or use it wirelessly, but it provides over 10,000 free shows to the customer, access to on demand, and YouTube and Pandora. Once the job is completely finished, you want to take a look around you and make sure that you left no signs that you've actually been there.
And then we still have to do customer education.
The DirecTV system is so advanced and has so many features that it's really important for the customer to actually understand what they're getting.
You'll get some people who are very tech savvy. They've seen their friends have it. They start asking you, well, how do you do this? And that's ahead of your list of things you're training. It's like, oh, okay, well, here's how you do this. And then you get the elderly person who breaks out the notepad.
And on the more advanced systems, it's definitely about 30 minutes to 45 minutes of education.
Customer ed should be about 30 minutes. Depending on the customer, it could take less or more.
Now, if you want to see the guide on the TV, all we do is press the guide here. And that will bring up the guide, and that way you'll see the channels that are around in this section.
Then it's downloading the show for me. So my next step in order to be able to justify that it's actually working, it's telling me that it's downloading a show, it's already in process, and I have 5% already.
Okay.
Oh.
See that recording?
And then I can play it here if I want.
Yeah, you can play it here. So from any room. And then you finish watching the other room, and then you
that's
you come
great.
here and they say resume it, or you want to start all over, you continue watching it.
So if I record something here, I can watch it in the bedroom or in the living room. Or
Yeah,
if I,
yeah. Everything is recorded on a hard drive.
We also have YouTube in case if you want to use your YouTube.
Try the mean kitty sound.
They're selected?
Yes, please. Remember, every time you want to grab something, open, close, cancel, you always press select.
We push a arrow up, you go arrow up, and then there's a 9 empty spot, so we move on a spot. For example, use that spot right there. So, like, let's say.
And so I can load the channel I'm watching on
QuickZoom, as long
and
as
then
you're
if
watching.
I hit it with the enter button, it goes to that channel on this screen.
Exactly.
While I'm getting an education.
Next thing I'm going to show you is just a little bit how these work. There's your singer. If you decide that you want to skip this song, see what the next one sounds like, yeah, go ahead and do it. It's just there waiting for you.
When you're wanting to control this, you hit the remote, and then you got the remote. Now if you hit pause, go ahead and hit pause. Pause.
Yeah.
Once customer education is complete, you can pull out your PDA and get a signature to close out the work order.
So all I need is your signature now. This is to close out the work order. Whatever you sign now, I'm gonna have DirecTV send you an email on the work order. Okay. So just press accept. There we go.
Once the customer is satisfied, you want to remind them that you appreciate their business for being a loyal DirecTV customer. Show them your badge one more time and hop in your van and head out to the next one.
Cool. Thank you.
And do you have any more questions for me?
No.
Okay. Well, remember, my name is Mike.
Mhm.
Thank you for choosing DirecTV.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Good work.
So if you don't have any more questions, we are done.
No, fine. Thank you so much. Good work today.
Sure.
All right, sir. Have a good one now.
Okay, you guys be good. Thanks a lot.
At the end of the day, I'm satisfied knowing I gave customers my 100%.
Every job is different. Every house is different. If it's a newer home, older home.
I like puzzles, so every new house is a new puzzle.
Every installation is different in the field. None of them take the same amount of time.
I've been on a job that took me 10.5 hours one day.
Come right along with me for a day. I'll show you that it's not just slapping cable up and hoping for the best. There's a lot that goes into it.